Good evening, Coyote fans. Welcome into episode 32 of the Howling podcast. My name is Jordan Decker. Very glad to be back this week. I will be joined by Mark Wendt and Chad Berger here in just a second. Some social media for us. You can catch us on X at HowWithUs3, myself at JD6Ope5, Mark at WDiamond605, Chad Berger at Chad Berger. That's BIRGER at Chad Berger. On Facebook, just search The Howling Podcast, and please like and follow. Thanks to Coyote Nation for getting us over that 100 follow hump that we had. We were able to do a little bit more through Facebook and Meta now that we've reached that landmark number. And then on YouTube, at The Howling Podcast, please subscribe. You'll get notified of new episodes each week, each time they pump out. Tonight's show, once again brought to you by the Wakanda Peach Company out of Burbank, South Dakota. Wakanda Peach Company, where all your peach dreams come true. Quick disclaimer before we begin, the opinions on this show, strictly ours and not of those of USD or the athletic department. Tonight, we recap the week that was, look forward to the upcoming week, and we will also be joined in a few minutes by USD volleyball player Morgan Bode. Chad and Mark, it is great to be back. Great job last week. You didn't burn it down. I watched. I listened. Bravo.
Tell you what, Jordan, we missed you a lot. It's like we didn't have someone here to ask 5-minute questions, and the show just got over a lot quicker. So
I'm pretty sure you still went like over 50 minutes, if not close to an hour.
Oh, we had a good time, but we missed you. It was a holiday. You were with family. We all understand. If you're out there watching right now on Twitter, Facebook, or YouTube, make sure to interact with the show. You can comment, you can reply, you can join the live chat on YouTube, and we may feature some of those comments on the program tonight. So interact with the program and be a part of it. Mark, you want to say anything?
No, it's good to see you guys. Let's do this.
All right.
Bands back together.
Well, let's go ahead and bring up the past week results. Men's golf is participating in the Summit League tournament in the Mecca of the Summit League, Mesa, Arizona.
Yep.
Track and field participated at the Drake Relays over the weekend. We've got some results from that later in the show. Softball had a tough weekend up in Fargo, dropped the series against North Dakota State 2-1. We'll recap some of those games during the show here in a little bit as well. And football had an interesting weekend. It was the NFL draft. No Yotes were selected, but multiple Yotes did sign contracts or were invited to mini camps. And so Mark will lead us through that later on. And soccer played some exhibition matches versus Morningside and Wayne State. If you have the results, let us know. We don't know what the results are. We can't find them anywhere. So tweet at us if you got those results. Any other comments?
Or comment in the Facebook section of the video, right?
There we go.
Live on Facebook too, right?
We are live on Facebook. Yep. Exactly. Yes. Comment there as well. So great week for the Yotes. We're kind of winding down the school year right now. And we did recap the spring volleyball season over the past couple weeks here. And, we've been trying really hard to get someone from the volleyball team on for quite a few weeks now. And tonight we finally secured a guest from the volleyball team. As Jordan mentioned, this is obviously some live footage from the Summit League Championships. Morgan Bode joins us. Welcome, Morgan. We're glad to have you with us.
Hi. For having me.
Welcome to the program. So, Morgan, we know that you're a middle blocker. You're finishing up your freshman year here, and that you're from Papillion, Nebraska. What has your first year with the Coyotes been like?
Oh, it's been so much more than I ever could have expected, honestly. I mean, coming into it, you always have this dream of what college athletics is really going to be like. But I mean, I've always dreamed of playing college, everything like that. But just coming here is so surreal and amazing. Playing the best people and like the most amazing coaches and mates that I could have asked for. And it's just truly such an amazing experience. It's hard to put it into words because it's just, you've been dreaming of this your whole life, and this, now that it's actually happening, you just have to like take a minute and like, wow, like, wow, I've made it this far. Like, it's kind of crazy.
Morgan, I wanted to ask you kind of like, Chad was really worried about some of our 5-step matches here in the spring. What is the focus of spring? Is it to win, or are you focused more on what you guys are doing on your side?
Yeah, I was worried in some of those 5 matches too. I think from what I have heard and from what the coaches have expressed, the goal for spring for us is to like test out the waters and kind of figure out like kinks and everything going into season. That way, when fall comes, we've experienced like adversity and we've been challenged throughout the spring. And that way we just have a better sense of mind kind of going into the fall when it actually matters. So,
Morgan, when did you fall in love with volleyball?
Oh, actually, it took a while. I was a basketball girl for quite some time. My older sister played volleyball, and she would always make me pepper with her and try to get me into it. But for the longest time, I resisted. So I played basketball up until middle school, and that's when I finally decided that maybe volleyball wasn't all that bad. So I've been playing club since my 13th year of club volleyball. Yep.
So, Morgan, you're listed on the program as a middle blocker, but we've seen you hit as well in addition to blocking. I feel like maybe that position could be relabeled a little bit to, talk a little bit about more what you do. But you kind of became known towards the end of the season and even this spring for your slide hit. That seems unstoppable. How did you develop that? And like, do you work on other offensive moves out there during the season, or how, I kind of want to know what the inner workings of the volleyball team and how that all works.
So, came in, I wouldn't say the slide was my main focus. I think that's something that like we have built up over time. When I first came in, I was like, didn't necessarily have a favorite set, kind of would just hit whatever I was like got thrown at. So, but coming into the season, coaches just really saw like my potential with the slide and like what that could be for me. And, just kind of focused more so on that. And I'm up in the 2-hitter situation. So when the setter comes into the front row, there's only me in the outside, no right side, which makes me like have a better opportunity to go around because like I said, there's no right side. That way it kind of splits up the offense and it makes it harder for the opposing side. So we just figured, might as well try it out. And I think it went pretty well for my freshman season. So yeah, just like kind of going into that, I was comfortable with slides for sure, but I wouldn't say that I was experienced at them in any way. But the coaches really saw potential and they worked really hard to get me where I am.
Yeah, that worked out really, really well. I kind of wanted to ask you to go back to your high school and club days. Obviously, everyone on the volleyball team was probably their best player, if not one of the best players. Is that a hard adjustment coming to a D1 volleyball program and not necessarily being the person that you're going to get the ball when we need a point? Is that a hard adjustment at all?
I would say so. I think especially from my high school, I think it's just a bit of a change. I mean, I've always played with Lauren Medic, so she's been with me ever since I moved to Nebraska. So we've been playing together the past 5 years. So, there's always been her on the court, which has helped like balance things out. But I would say, honestly, I've been very, very blessed to have grown up with such talented girls, and my club and my high school teams were phenomenal. So I'm not going to lie, it's honestly not that big of a difference because like I said, we had so many options and so many girls who would be able to put the ball away when we needed a point. So like I said, it's not that different compared to high school and club, just because I played with such talented girls that it made the transition to college much easier. Yeah,
so you mentioned playing with Lauren Medic. You could not have lost a lot of volleyball matches in high school and club, could you? Like that's a juggernaut.
We were a pretty strong duo for sure. And our high school has always been successful long before we came into the lineup. And then we won state our sophomore and junior year, and senior year we kind of got robbed of it, which was a different story. But yeah, we've always been a strong, compatible teammates for sure.
Sounds like an iChart nominee there somewhere.
Hey, Morgan, not to dwell on last season, but besides the Summit League Championship, beating the team up north, what was your favorite match that you took part in last season?
My favorite match, besides the championship, it honestly just had to be the semifinals against Omaha. I mean, coming from Omaha and how they kind of, beat us up the first couple times that we it was such a good feeling and like a confidence boost going into the championship against state, because finally we did what we were supposed to do, and we had been talking about it all season. We knew what we were supposed to be doing, and it just was slightly out of reach for us. So just like that final kick against them in the semifinals when we just turned it up a notch, and I think that was the most together we've played as a team, more of an focus on team aspects rather than individual focuses. And so that had to been my favorite match besides the championship.
Morgan, a lot of us that watch Coyote volleyball notice that whenever Coach Williamson calls a timeout, the Yotes always seem to score the next point, no matter what. What do the coaches say during those timeouts? We want to know.
Well, it can range from a lot of different things, but one thing that the coaches are amazing at, they are very level-headed, and they do not get even if they do get easily frustrated, they never take it out on us. And they do a very good job of, instead of just coming in the huddle and, they could scream at us, they could do a lot of different things that wouldn't help us in any ways. But I think they do a really good job at just kind of refocusing us, resetting. They do a good job of just cleaning the slate, putting the past in the past, and then helping us move on in whatever ways they can. Sometimes that's, a high five, encouraging word or something like that, but they always do a good job of not holding on to the past, not holding grudges, and just focusing on the next play.
So that brings up an interesting question that I just thought of here. So after every point, you guys do a little huddle, and it seems like everyone's talking at once. Has anything important ever been said in one of those huddles after a point?
Cheering, I think it's a lot of in your face celebrations, just us having fun, kind of goofing around and just enjoying the moments. I think that's when we have the most fun on the court, is, not the second after I get a kill. It's when I can come in and celebrate with my teammates that makes the game truly so special, because, no other sport really has something like that where you can instantly share your success with your teammates and your friends. So, I mean, not a lot gets said, but there's a lot of encouragement and cheering and everything like that.
We should do that virtually on this show, after each question. Just be like, hey, nice job. Nice question, Mark. Good job, Jordan. You didn't take 30 seconds to ask the question. Morgan, we talked about this a little bit before we went on, but there was obviously a big news story in the draft with Shedeur and the prank call that happened. So I was curious, and you can totally say, next question, please. Have you ever prank called someone before?
Well, a couple of my teammates do love a good prank call. So, when we're out of travel tournaments and stuff like that, my teammates do harmless prank calls, not like the one that happened recently. But for whatever reason, some of my teammates really love the minions from Despicable Me. So they'll, call some people, call some of their friends, and they'll like to talk in minion accents, and it gets a kick out of the rest of the team. So we all around the room and, laugh, trying not to laugh too loud while they prank call someone else, but nothing nearly as bad as what has happened recently with prank calls.
Hold up. So Mark, Chad, I think we found it. Behind Mark is a shark that we wore to the women's basketball game for Grace Larkins, Lark the Shark. Did we just Minions for volleyball games? Do we need to? Are we coming in Minions costumes to?
It's the
Is that a
best idea we
stretch?
got. Yeah.
My
No,
team out of that one for sure. I think
we can make it happen.
get a laugh out of them.
We'll see what we can do. We got some time.
So Morgan, you obviously had a tremendous freshman season. A few of your teammates are not going to be with you next year. What do we look forward to for the Coyotes in the off season and then coming up into the fall here?
Well, I think the most important thing to kind of highlight is, yes, obviously we're missing our amazing seniors, and they were such a huge part of our team. But our team was very, very young, and if you looked at who played, everything like that, our team has such a young aspect, and terms that we can return so many people, and so many people that have the potential of making such a great impact on our team. So I think the biggest thing we've kind of been focusing on in the off season is trying to figure out who leading wise is going to kind of replace the seniors, and follow their lead, and just more so in vocal leaders. I think the past seniors were amazing at just helping out our team, being vocal, leading by example. Any kind of leader you can think of, our senior class had it. So I think that's kind of been our focus of the spring, is just figuring out how our team can still be led in the right direction by certain individuals, now that the people who were doing that mostly had left our program. So I think that's kind of the biggest thing. Just figuring out who's going to step up and try to take their place.
Morgan, so what's now that spring volleyball is done, what's your summer look like and into, start practicing for real here?
Well, I am very, very excited for Europe. We're going to Spain and Portugal. So our definitely looks different compared to typical summers. Once we get out of school, we'll have a little bit of a break, and then we will report on May 28th. That's very soon, because we will be moving our freshmen in, which is so exciting that they get to come on this trip with us. But we'll move our freshmen in, and then the NCAA gives us 10 days of practice before we're able to leave on our foreign tour. So on May 28th, we'll go back to Vermilion, and then we'll start practicing right away. And then we'll leave for our trip on June 10th, which I am so excited for, obviously. And then after that, we'll have a little bit of a break after we come back from Europe, and then we'll be back at it on June 6th.
Portugal and Spain. That's what you said?
Yep.
That's quite the trip. All right. Well, before you get all that set, you go to that trip. Okay, finals week coming up, right? What final are you looking forward to the most? Which one the least? And this is another one where you could say, I'd prefer not to answer, just in case the professors are watching,
I'm a math education major, which I get a lot of strange looks when I so definitely the final I'm looking forward to the least. But I'm sure I'll make it through. The final I'm looking forward to the most, that's probably, I'm in a class that's called Child and Adolescent Development and Learning, which is kind of like a psychology class, but I just think all of that is so interesting. So that's probably going to be my most favorite final, if there's such a thing. That class actually interests me, and I like learning about that. So,
well, best of luck to you.
Thank you.
You'll do great. I have a weird one for you, Morgan. So if people don't know, when you give to the volleyball team during Unite for USD, you get a nice handwritten card from the volleyball team, one of the players or the coaches. I got one from Cameron Ferris 2 years ago, and she has the most impeccable handwriting I have ever seen.
Yeah.
So I'm curious how your handwriting ranks in the not compared to Cameron, because I don't think anyone can top that, but are you number 2?
Sure. Well, people telling me I have teacher handwriting, which I think I feel like they're usually pretty spot on. So I would rank myself pretty high, definitely not beating Cameron, because I think that's kind of untouchable. But I'd like to boost my confidence a little bit and think I'm pretty far up.
Right on.
Morgan, last fun one from me. Favorite sports movie?
Ooh. It's kind of a more of a sad and feel good story, but it's called The Miracle Season. It's a volleyball one. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but it was based on this high school team. So it starts out, and this main character, her mom has cancer, and so she kind of, plays for her mom and everything like that. But then she gets into this terrible motorcycle accident, and then she ends up passing away. But she was kind of the star of this high school volleyball team. And so the team just kind of steps up, and they end up like winning their state championship. And they have her name was Caroline, the main character. So they like have a little motto that's live like line. And I remember watching that movie when it first came out, probably in middle school. And I was so touched by that story because, everyone has their stories with cancer, and I certainly have mine. And that's always been something tough for me. So just watching that movie, I like connected with it. And it's just such a feel good movie at the end where they're able to pull out that win in their state finals. So that's definitely my favorite sports movie.
I love it. The Miracle Season, if Google is right, is available on Amazon Prime, Fubo, and Peacock Premium.
Yeah. And it's based on a story. So good.
Okay.
I'll have to check it out. I have not seen it.
Yeah.
All right, Morgan, you filled out the Noah Yote thing on social media here a few weeks ago. And a couple things here. Number one, for the something adventurous answer, you put paddleboarding in the ocean.
All right.
Obviously something you don't do a whole lot in Vermilion. So tell us a little bit more about this paddleboarding in the ocean thing.
So a lot of people don't know, it was actually my fun fact. The last one on that Noah Yote thing was that I've lived in 6 states. So my dad was in the military, so we've kind of bounced around everywhere. And for the longest time, we were stationed in one place. It was in California, right out of LA, actually. So I kind of, from around 2nd grade to before my freshman year of high school, I grew up a beach girl. So I've done paddleboarding, all sorts of stuff like that. Definitely a change living in Vermilion now, but it's one that I like. I like Vermilion, so it's one that turned out for the better.
Okay. One of the other answers on there was it says hobby reading. What are you reading right now?
Oh, well, I just finished a series. It's called the Twisted series, but I'm a really big reader, so I'll read any books that you throw at me. A lot of different genres, a lot of different authors. I like fiction, I like nonfiction. But yeah, I just finished the Twisted series, and I kind of had to prevent myself from starting a new book because finals is right around the corner. So I figured I should spending my time reading all day. So I put myself on hold for a little bit.
Good answer.
Excellent.
Smart answer.
Yeah. All right. Well, do you guys have any final questions here?
Looking forward to volleyball season. Can't wait.
Very much looking forward to the season.
So,
Morgan, we are super excited to have you on tonight, that we were able to get you on the program, and we hope you have a fantastic summer, and we hope to see you on the court next fall.
well, thank you so much. Thanks for having me tonight, guys. I was honored that you asked me. So have a great rest of the podcast and a great night. So thank you, guys.
Thanks, Morgan.
Thanks, Morgan.
Thanks, Morgan.
All right. That was.
Let's go.
We always get
Okay.
the best guests on here, don't we?
So
Amazing.
good to know if I get a prank call from someone sounding like a minion, it's going to be Morgan or someone on the volleyball team.
Right.
Potentially, yeah.
Potentially.
Well, now, if someone else did, we could maybe, blame it on them. You never know. Lots of interesting facts there. A few comments that came in here. Morgan is a stud, obviously. Yeah, beast on the court. So make sure to chime in there if you're watching out there, whether it's on Twitterland, YouTube, or the Facebook. Go ahead
And thank you for watching.
Yeah.
Let's see if they stick through the rest of the episode.
Well, I don't know why they wouldn't. Everyone wants to hear the
I
updates
know.
of what's going on with the Yotes, right?
I do.
Okay. Well,
Otherwise, I would leave.
let's go. News and notes. Mark.
News and notes. The Summit, as we mentioned earlier, the Summit League tournament for the men in golf is taking place in the Mecca, known as Mesa, Arizona, of the Summit League. They're in 4th after day 1. Max shot a 70. He's tied for 2nd. Nice round for Max. Joe Rolling shot a 71. He's tied for 8th. Cole, Jack, and Logan 73, 75, and 77 respectively. So Yote's sitting 4th. Second, we'll get to the standings here in a little bit. Second is not out of reach by any stretch. One team had a really fantastic round and is hopefully they come back to earth here a little bit, but a couple more days left of the Summit League tournament down there for the men. So good luck to them. And as we mentioned earlier, the NFL draft took place this weekend. Nobody officially drafted, but we had several guys sign undrafted free agent deals. JJ Galbraith with my Pittsburgh Steelers, Super Bowl bound. JJ Galbraith jersey on order as soon as I figure out what number he's wearing. Mike Reed signed with the Panthers, and Joey Lombard and Travis Tice have camp invites. Joey to the Chiefs and Saints, according to Jay Elson, and Travis with the Broncos. My brother happy about that. And as we've been kind of the motto, we've given to the transfer portal, it taketh, but recently it has been giving. Multiple football players have committed, more than we've kept track of here and more that I can mention here. Check out at Coyotes Football on Twitter. Get all the details about everyone that's committed to the football team. We had Coach Johansson on a couple weeks ago and had no doubt he'd fill those jerseys, and he's certainly done that.
Mark, sorry to interrupt. Back the Pack, I think they've created like a
they do
of it that has highlighted. So follow Back the Pack. I think those guys have been doing a really good job of keeping track of who left and where they ended up, and then who's coming in and from where. Well.
Yeah, thanks for mentioning that. Women's basketball. If you watch Denver play last couple of years, there's been someone on that team that's kind of been a burr in our saddle or a bee in our bonnet or a fly in our soup. And her name was Angelina Robles. She's on our side now. She's announced her commitment to Coach Amy and the Yotes. Look forward to having her on the good side. Other women basketball news, Coach Paul Fessler has joined the staff, who I believe had some juggernaut teams in Concordia a few years back. So really solid hire for them. Looking forward to getting to know him a little bit. If we can get him on the show, that would be fantastic. Looking forward to that. I think the women's basketball team has reloaded really nicely from what I've seen.
I'm looking at Twitter too. It sounds like he was really good at recruiting in the region, which will be nice to get back into that.
Solid hire.
And as always, if you want to see any of this stuff or get access to any of the social media accounts, you can always go to goyotes.com and find everything through there. If it's not your homepage or favorite on your web browser right now, I don't know what you're doing. So,
Correct.
Just, get that up and rolling. Next up, we'll kind of go to the leaderboard here of the men's golf tournament. And you can see that the Jackrabbits are in first place. They are at -5 right now. But, after that, 2, 3, 4, 5, all really jumbled up there. North Dakota State, Oral Roberts, South Dakota, Omaha, all within just 4 shots of each other. And so there's a lot of room for movement over the next couple days there at the Summit League Championship in the Mecca. So stay tuned and pay attention to what's going on there. You guys want to do some trivia here?
Yeah,
sure. It's been
a
couple dozen episodes since the last one.
Who's in 8th place on this one?
Weber State.
Okay. Who's in 9th?
That's Northern Colorado.
All right. The huge Summit League presence. Is
that all you would give those AEW wrestlers too?
Well, no, those jabronis would get a much harder time. But you guys know your stuff, so it's more difficult to fool you. But that's what's going on with golf. Next up, the track team we mentioned earlier. Where were they?
The Drake Relays, the famous Drake Relays.
The famous Drake Relays. So the Yotes took part in the Drake. In the Drake.
What the hell is going on in this picture? I can't say piss, but we can have that.
So people listening right now, if you're listening on Spotify, we actually have a picture on the screen right now of some young ladies who are actually signing or autographing a Drake Bulldog figurine. What do you want to call it? Like a statue? I don't know what it is. But the way the camera is positioned, it maybe looks a little bit questionable. However, so
like the dog is going in for its yearly physical. That's what it looks like. Good boy.
You got to zoom in to make that picture appropriate. So
well, it's a picture that was out on the internet, so we just posted it on there. But
a lot of real estate there to sign, and they chose that spot.
So the team was at Drake, and Thursday, a couple of good performances here. The 5,000 meters, Geneva Timmerman got third in the women's race, and Nathaniel Keifel also placed third in the men's race. If we mispronounce any of these games, please add us on Twitter and give us the correct pronunciation. Once again, I think I've mentioned on previous shows, huge fan of those pronunciation guides. I think the swimming team and the tennis team do those. So if track and field wanted to follow suit, that would be much appreciated. Pole vault, also the Yotes went 1-2, kind of. Emily Grove got first place, unattached.
Hey, all right.
Emily Grove was a 2017 grad of USD and got
nice
first
work,
place.
Emily.
Yeah. But then Anna Willis, actually a freshman on the USD squad, came in second at the Drake Relays in the pole vault. So great job by Anna. Excellent finish in the pole vault. Lots of good things coming from her in the next few years. Friday, Sarah won the 400 meters with a time of 53.63. How fast was that, Mark?
Extremely, I would say. Nearly a full second ahead of second place.
Second place finished with a 54.62, which if you're good at math, like Morgan Bode, that's 0.99 seconds behind Sarah. So excellent job, Sarah. Great race. Congrats on the win there. Also, another big win, men's 1,500 meters. Caleb Rivera wins it at 3:46.62. Now, I don't know if you guys know how far 1,500 meters is. Do you guys know?
A mile-ish.
It's just under a mile, right? And so 3:46 is cooking.
That's insane.
Yeah, that's a great time. And also Mason.
My heart rate's going up just looking at that number.
Yeah.
53.
Mason Sindelar finished just a couple seconds behind Caleb there and got sixth place. So it was actually a really tight finish in the 1,500 meter race. So Caleb ended up coming out on top there. And then the 4x800 relay team, you can see the names on the screen. If you want to go to goyotes.com, go ahead and do that. Placed second with a time of 9:02.85. That's on the women's side of things. So great performances there on Friday. These were not the only performances. If you want all of those details, go to goyotes.com, or you can go out to the Twitter and check out what's going on there. And then on Saturday, a couple great performances in the distance medley relays. And once again, to get the results of this, you have to really dig deep. I think there's like a college relays, university relay. There's like all kinds of relays going on at the Drake Relays. But in this case, the Yotes team in the women's distance medley finished in ninth place, but ran an 11:40.66, which broke the program record. So congratulations, ladies, on that one. And then the men's squad, you can see a couple of those names from the great performances in the 1,500 the day before. Those gentlemen also broke the school record with a time of 9:46.63 in the men's distance medley, which placed them in third. And so lots of great results from Drake over the weekend. And we obviously don't have time to go through every single thing here. Plus, for those of you listening on Spotify, it's not the funnest thing in the world to sit and listen to us go through all that. So if you want more information, go to goyotes.com.
Absolutely.
Any other comments on the track and field here, Jordan?
No. Nice work, Yotes.
All right. Good job. I think this picture is going to go in our Hall of Fame.
I kind of want to go to Drake and then like hop the fence just to sign my name.
Well, I wonder,
I think it'd be worth getting escorted out.
Do you think they give that trophy to like the most outstanding athlete at the end, or like what do you think they do with that?
That's a good question.
Maybe it's
because it doesn't like this is like the 119th Drake relay, so it's not like 119 years worth of signatures on that dog, so it must go somewhere.
Was that Emily? Can you go back? Is that Emily signing it? It looks like Emily Grove. So maybe like winners get to sign. I don't know.
I would assume that's what's happening there, but
maybe they auction it off. Who knows? Let's make a road trip and go find it.
Tweet at us. Somebody knows.
Someone that is more familiar with the Drake relays than us, go ahead and jump into the comments and let us know. But until we hear that, we're going to go ahead and move on with our next results.
Sounds good.
We mentioned softball played up in Fargo against North Dakota State. Rough Saturday for the Yotes. Dropped a couple, 3-0, 3-0 on here. Just really couldn't get any hits strung together in either of these. And that darn fifth inning, Mark, I don't know what was going on there.
Yeah, it was like a photocopy of, two games, really this exact same. Not only did North Dakota State score 3 in the bottom of the fifth in both games, but all those runs came with 2 outs. Stop me if you've heard that before in our softball recaps. And the other part, stop me if you heard this before, that we did have runners in scoring position late 5th, 6th, 7th inning and just could not find a way to bring anybody home. So, yeah, definitely a frustrating day if you're a Yote fan. And I watched the majority of both these games, and it was like Groundhog Day, really.
Yeah. Interesting. So I don't know if you had an official left on base total from these two games.
It was pretty. We didn't have a lot of hits, so it was pretty light. I think it was 6 and 5 or 4, not outlandish numbers like we'll get to here in a second. But all those runners left in scoring position were late in the game, so we can't say we didn't have opportunities to extend the game or at least make it very interesting at the end.
So for those of you that have been following along, North Dakota State was behind us in the standings going into the weekend, and then they took the first 2 of the series. So I think they actually moved ahead of us, ahead of the Yotes here after the 2 wins on Saturday. So today, Sunday, the big matchup, and the Yotes were able to really pull it out there in the 5th inning, and then tacked on a couple of insurance runs in the 7th to get the 5-2 victory over North Dakota State. You can see the hit total on this one, 14 hits for the Yotes, and Mark started sending us messages early because there were hits early, but what happened, Mark?
We left them on. I think it's mentioned here in the next slide, but I was really scared that it was going to turn into, the previous day's results where we had plenty of hits. I think multiple runners on every single inning, except for one where we just left one. But we've left runners on in every single inning. And I was a little worried there, 1 through 4, that we were going to really miss the opportunity to pull a game out here. I mean, luckily, 5th inning in Fargo was a thing. 3 runs in the 5th. Luckily, it was us this time, and we added some insurance in the 7th, and we're able to pull out which I referred to on Twitter as kind of a must-win. So I'm certainly glad we got it. Much needed.
And what was your reaction to switching the pitchers there?
Well, I What a great move by Coach Wagner is what I said eventually in the group chat, right? Claire Edwards started and was, we gave up 2 in the first, but when she was rolling from there on, like multiple 1, 2, 3 innings there. So, yeah, I was a little shocked that she got pulled there. I don't know if it was in the 5th or 6th, but obviously that's why I'm not the softball coach. McKenna Young came in and closed the door. So.
Yeah, I think came in and struck out the side in the first inning.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's when I realized I might have been wrong.
So here's the individual stats. If you're watching, if you're not, Mark will kind of highlight some of those.
Yeah. So as we mentioned, 14 hits, but also we left 14 runners on. So this could have been a much, much easier game to, it wouldn't be tight at the end. Like we certainly, you don't have multiple runners on each inning without having one of them in scoring position. That's just not possible. So a lot of runners in scoring position throughout the entire game. And the other thing here is Ella McGee, Tatum Vallada, Delaney White, and Abby Brown all had multiple hits in this game. So, and there was only 1 walk and 2 strikeouts. So it was a lot of balls in play the entire game, a lot of base runners, one of those kind of games. And luckily we came out on top. Thank God.
So since the Yotes came out on top in this game on Sunday, if we pull up the conference standings next, you can see that South Dakota and North Dakota State are now tied at 5-10 for the conference record during the season. Each of these teams in the conference have 1 series left, except for Omaha. Omaha has completed their conference season, and they are done at 14-4. St. Thomas plays against North Dakota State this coming week. South Dakota State plays at North Dakota, and then Kansas City plays at South Dakota, as we'll go through here in just a little bit. But a little bit of room for some potential movement in the conference tournament. We're a little bit unclear on the conference tournament based on what we know, what is posted on the Summit League website, and what has happened in other sports during the season. We think, and once again, this is not official, we think that St. Thomas is not going to participate in the Summit League tournament. Because of that, the tournament will be a 6-team tournament. Omaha has already been announced by the conference as the number 1 seed or the conference champion. And so that's why we're fairly certain that St. Thomas is not going to participate. So we'll try to clear all this up in the next week or so, get you more detailed information. But Omaha has, just been really, really tough. And, it'd be really beneficial for the Yotes to maybe jump into the 3 spot, and so a sweep over Kansas City would help out this weekend. Just throwing that out there. Yeah.
Avoid Omaha as long as we can.
Yeah. Try to get them when their pitchers have been used a little bit more, or however that works. I don't know if that's a thing in softball, but whatever. Yeah, we'll go with that. So, any further information there? We don't really know a whole lot else about the conference tournament yet. If you go to the Summit League tournament website or Summit League website, you can see that it is a 6-team bracket on there. And so go check that out, and it'll show you when everything's happening. It's going to be in Brookings this year. So you can see the information for that. We did mention the Yotes host Kansas City this weekend. Games on Friday afternoon. First one's at noon, second one's at 2. That's called a doubleheader. And then Saturday, 11 a.m. versus Kansas City. And Kansas City's been struggling this season. So Yotes got a real opportunity here to make up some ground there in the conference standings.
And it's Cinco de Mayo. right? Jordan?
Jordan,
Are we? If the boys got swimming lessons at the morning Saturday at 11. Come on, we got to get a night game so we can tailgate.
okay.
There's no lights, are there?
Jordan, we're going on Friday, right?
Yeah,
I
you
got
cleared your
work.
calendar. You cleared your calendar.
No, we blocked it off on
Live
your
meeting.
calendar.
Live.
When Coach Piv was here a couple weeks ago.
Oh, I did. Yep. Hold
Oh
up.
my gosh.
Hold up. No. I'm just confirming. I will be in Vermilion for meetings on Friday.
Okay, there we go.
I will be in town. We'll have to see how productive they are to get out by at least the second game of the doubleheader.
You can download Zoom on your phone, buddy. Join it.
It's already downloaded.
Well, let's go. So we're going to be out at the games this Friday. So make sure to get out there. Join us. We're going to get rowdy. We're going to be crazy. We're going to bring the eye chart. Okay.
Chad's going to dress in an AEW wrestling outfit.
These officials aren't going to know. These umpires aren't going to know how to handle us.
And what we need is, John Schemmel, if you're listening, we need some bleachers in the outfield. So let's figure out how to make that happen. That'd be really great because we would use them effectively.
Because we feel like we could make better calls in place of the umpires by sitting in the outfield.
Well, it has to do with the current layout of the seating and the stadium.
No, I know.
Yeah,
I'd rather be in the outfield yelling jabroni. Hey, ump, you're a jabroni. Than 10 feet away from him.
Right. We can make eye contact with them.
Yeah, we're not going to get downgrade them or anything. We're not going to get personal, but we're going to let them know that if they make a questionable call, maybe they should get their vision checked. That's something we do.
Hey, we did get when we were questioning what the Bulldog was all about.
Yeah. So Darren chimed in and said this is a new tradition at the Drake Relays that the event winners sign Champ the Bulldog. So
I like that. But who does it go to?
Right. No, that's good info.
I should know this. This is on a bucket list, actually, is to go to Drake Relays. I'm wondering if, is there a meet MVP?
Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to figure this out. But thanks, Darren, for the inside information. We appreciate it. As always, if there's anything that we don't know, because we don't know everything, some people might say we don't know anything. Yeah, I don't know. Just go ahead and let us know in the comments or replies. And we would love to feature that on the show. So thanks to everyone for tuning in. That was awesome. Next up, we're going to go ahead and pull up I don't think we've seen any soccer results rolling in, have we?
I have not seen it. No.
Okay. So if you have those soccer scores, and you wanted to let us know, now would be an appropriate time. But we'll go ahead and jump on to what's coming up this week for the Yotes. Monday and Tuesday, we're going to wrap up the Summit League tournament. Where's that at, Mark?
The Mecca of the Summit League. Mesa, Arizona. Print the t-shirts. I'll buy one.
We're going to have to make this happen. I love it. The Mecca. People, I'll wear it down in Mesa too, and people will be like, "What are you talking about? What's the Summit League?" So that's great.
If they're worried about weather, I understand because you never know. But I feel like Vermilion, 80% of the time is a safe bet. It's going to be playable this time of year.
Or Omaha or Kansas
Omaha.
City. Yeah.
No, seems like there's options, but
I don't know. Probably save a few bucks too. But
Mesa would be really irritated if we pulled it out of there.
I'm almost fairly certain that Mesa was the second choice or second location choice after Sioux Falls for the Summit League headquarters too.
The Mesa tourism department right now is just quaking in their boots, just having us talk about this. So,
those
goodness.
damn Howling podcast fellas, jabronis.
Softball coming up. Softball is going to be A code
Did
red.
you try to get me mid-sip again?
Code red. Final home series versus Kansas City. Friday, doubleheader, as we mentioned. Games at noon and 2. Saturday, 11 a.m. Get out and support the softball team. That's at home. You don't have to travel to Mesa, Arizona to watch this one.
Right.
So,
Let's have a party. Let's make it rowdy.
yep. Let's get a little crazy. Let's make it happen.
Go watch.
We'll see you in the outfield too.
Go watch the show we had Coach Piv on and tell me you're not excited about softball.
Oh, yeah.
Not possible.
Hey, forecast. Check this out. Oh boy. Friday, 70, partly cloudy. Saturday, 82. Sun.
Let's go. Let's go.
Perfect weather for softball.
Thank you, Michael. Jordan.
I just got it.
That was an inside joke. I apologize.
Inside jokes are lame, Chad.
Okay, I shouldn't do that on the show.
We're gonna lose one viewer now.
Yeah, well, people out there are tuned in because USD is going to be at home for the rest of the regular season and the Summit League Championships in track and field. That starts this Friday night at the USD tune-up meet. So make sure to get out to the track Friday night, Saturday, all day. Okay, get out there, cheer on the Yotes. Saturday, it sounds like it's going to be perfect weather. You can catch some softball. You can go catch some track and field, all in Vermilion, South Dakota. So there's no
go catch a sunburn.
Well, apply sun protection. Okay, wear hats, sunglasses. Use the SPF or wear long sleeves. I don't know. I'm trying to help, prevent any unnecessary burns here, but yeah, take care of yourself, but get out there and support the Yotes both Friday and Saturday in softball and track and field. Sound like a plan?
I'm going to get burned.
Sounds good.
I don't care.
I like to go medium rare in April and May. June and July, I'll put some sunscreen on, but I like to get a little
Right. Gotta get a little
roasted on the skin. Yeah, get a little color. Got a little color from Green Bay. It was only like 50 degrees or whatever, but
Well, Jordan, since you mentioned it, what were you doing in Green Bay? Go ahead and bring that up.
oh, we went to the my mother-in-law lives out there, so we thought we'd make an extended weekend and went to the NFL draft. Great event, very well run, tons of stuff for the kids to do and for the adults for that matter. But yeah, I was a Vikings fan, got a lot of grief, but it was all in good fun. It was just really cool to go into Lambeau. Like they had it open for everyone to go in. Yeah, it was a blast. I'm exhausted from it, a lot of walking, but the boys had fun and makes it all worth it. On Friday morning, we woke up at 4:30 to get in line for the Dan Patrick show on Friday. So we were able to get in and be a part of like the studio audience there, and caught a brewski from Marv as he was throwing him out towards the end, and then got to do a little meet and greet with Dan and the Danettes afterwards. So it was awesome. It was awesome.
Can Marvin hold a brewski in one hand, or since his hands are tiny, does he have to throw it?
I'm not going to lie. When he was holding it in his hand, I thought it was a 32-ounce beer, but it was only a 16-ounce. So
if you don't watch the Dan Patrick show, you have no clue what we're talking about.
Make fun of Marvin having small hands, but
yeah.
No, it was.
We'll clip this and send it to Marvin too. So
right.
No, the show was great too. They had Joe Thomas on, Tom Pelissero. I'm having a brain lapse because my brain is fried. Who's the ESPN guy that everyone says should be a GM? Louis Riddick was on. He was on. They were, and then Rick Neuheisel was on and sang a song about Shedeur Sanders. So that was fun. That was fun.
Well, we're glad you had a good time. We're glad to have you back as well, Jordan. So great job today.
Thank you.
But before we go,
and that's just what they wanted to do there. And all things considered, again, you see the iChart cardboard cutout. How appropriate.
Through the review, the iChart made its way to the video board. It really injected
Let's go, Mark.
some energy.
Mark Wendt is famous for holding up that eye chart at USD basketball games when officials make questionable calls. We go ahead and give our eye chart of the week moments for questionable calls, whether they happened on the field or court or in life in general. And so we had an eye chart of the week from last week, and we'll go ahead and give the results of that. Mark, you want to give the results?
So Chad wins with his college campus
Ooh.
tour fella for kind of disrespecting the dome in his little playoff bracket. Won 58% of the vote in my Colorado Buffaloes retiring Sador Sanders and Travis Hunter's jersey after finishing with a losing record at the school. Got second.
I voted for Colorado there.
You were just one of the 12,179 people that voted too. So
Right.
It's impressive. That's about how many people voted for anytime USD was a part of college campus tours polls. We always had the highest number. That one USD fan must have a ton of different bot accounts.
burners.
Right.
Yeah.
Get the burners.
Speaking
Well,
of jabronis.
So since I won, I guess I get to go first this week. Is that how we do it?
This is how we've been doing it.
All
This is
right.
how we
Well,
win.
I'm not going to give specific names here for my eye chart of the week, but there was an ugly incident in Major League Baseball this weekend that gets my eye chart of the week nominee. Unfortunately, the Boston team was playing the Cleveland team, and it was in Cleveland, and one of the fans kind of got into a verbal altercation with one of the Boston players, and it did not go well. It was something where things that were said were related to harming themselves, the player harming himself, which happened in a previous time, and it was a very unfortunate event. And because of all that, I hope that the Cleveland team takes the right steps and does what they need to do and bans this fan from ever attending a Major League Baseball game again. I know that they have identified the fan and they're taking steps with Major League Baseball to figure out what to do. But when you go to games, there's no reason to bring any of that stuff up to opposing players, any of that stuff. So that whole situation gets my eye chart of the week.
Yeah, well deserved. Well deserved.
Well, good option. Jeepers creepers. I didn't even know about this.
Yeah.
Well, you were busy. You were in Green Bay. I mean,
This was this today's game or yesterday's game?
I think it was today's.
Good.
maybe
It
was
came out
yesterday.
today. Definitely
Yeah.
came out today.
Yeah.
All right. So here we go with mine. I was going to do something lighthearted, but I saw something this week that really bugged me, and I'm going to mention it. And if you don't like it, don't vote for me. The Summit League tweeted out that I believe St. Thomas and Kansas City were playing in softball, and they were going to have an all-female umpiring crew, and everyone was female. I'm a dad of 3 girls. I applaud. The part that bugged me was the future is female hashtag. Since I got divorced, I joined a couple of groups on Facebook for single dads and divorced dads and guys going through family court and all the horrors that involves. And every week I have to read either a young dad or a dad's son that has decided to end their lives. The suicide rate for young men is 4 times that of women. And young men are being told that just being men is toxic and all this nonsense. I just think there's a saying that says blowing out someone's candle doesn't make yours brighter. And I think we could do better. I think we can prop up women without blowing out men and boys. And so I have a lot more to say about that, but I'm not going to say that here. But so the Summit League gets my eye chart of the week.
All right. Thank you, Mark. Jordan, how are you going to follow that?
Make it funny.
I don't really have a funny one to follow. Mine, I don't know how you're going to put this on the X poll. Adults that push kids out of the way. So I have a couple of examples from the last couple of weeks, quick. One was at the Easter egg roll or hunt at the Great Plains Zoo. Great Plains Zoo did a phenomenal job. Great event. They planned it very well. As soon as it started, I saw numerous parents walking their kids out and shoving, like kind of like elbowing other kids out of the way so that they, not even their kids, they could pick up the egg to put it in to their kids' Easter basket. So that was the one example. And then when we were in Green Bay, they had a ton of events for kids, like this sounds weird, but like headless mannequins that kids could climb up on the backside to like stand and then put their head in so they look like they're NFL players. But there'd be like kids walking up to go do that, and then these grown adults clearly having several drinks would just like walk by right in front of the parents taking a picture and just like take a selfie. Or they have these giant helmets that kids could like go inside of, so it looked like a massive helmet. I saw one parent one adult just kind of like nudge a kid out of the way to take a quick selfie. And then they just walk away. Like they don't want the confrontation. And of course, everyone is just like, what are you doing? Like there's lines for this stuff, like blah, blah, blah. So my eye chart goes to adults that shove kids out of the way for their own attention. Ridiculous.
Yeah. So Mark, are you going to maybe clip the one where you did that exact same thing earlier this season and post that?
Yeah. In fairness, they were pushing me. I'm not exactly.
Oh, okay.
So it's technically different.
Okay, that's all right. So
I would, different.
Okay, that's fine. Well, you mentioned voting. How do people vote for the winner of the eye chart of the week here, Mark?
Currently, the only way to vote is on Twitter. I tried to make a poll on Facebook. Facebook doesn't allow that, or I don't know how to do it. So check out our Twitter, or X as some people call it now. There'll be a poll.
Calls it that. Yeah.
I'll clip.
I don't think you can do a poll on Facebook. We'd have them comment their choice.
Yeah, I don't want to go through and count all those if it's not
all three choices that are comments.
Yeah. So for now, you got to go to X or Twitter, and it'll be posted. We'll clip our nominees so you can get some context to it and vote. So we'll be beginning, 12, 15,000 votes a week. So join in.
And that's at Howl with Us 3 on Twitter or X. At Howl with Us 3. All right. Well, if any of you have comments out there, go ahead and put them in the chat. If you have other eye chart moments that you want to see, we'll go through those here in just a moment. But if not, it's been a fun show. We had an awesome guest. Jordan, you want to say one last thing here?
Oh, you finish up, and I got my thing. Sorry.
Okay, I was going to say we had an awesome guest, Morgan Bode. Great to have someone from the volleyball program with us tonight. And I know I'm a huge volleyball fan, and I'm looking forward to the volleyball season next fall. Go ahead, Jordan.
Two things. One is kind of negative. The other is going to be great. I got some merch to show you from the Howling podcast. So you guys talked about it last week. The Calling Out Coyotes record number of money donated. It was like 870 something, 870,000, whatever it was. Record breaking. It was a fun event. I've already seen and heard some Coyote fans complain about that number compared to the other school in South Dakota. My thing to Coyote fans that see that and go, well, how or why can't we do better? If you're not donating, there's your answer. I'm just saying, like, they've got comparison is the thief of joy. Okay. So let them do their thing. We are going to do ours. We're already well on our way to being, each and every year we're getting better. Right. But if you see that and complain, and I say that I've told you guys this even during the year, right? Like attending events and stuff. If you see that and complain, but you're not doing anything about it, be a part of the solution. So that's my one thing. The other thing, check these out. We got some, let's hide the brand first.
Yeah.
New t-shirts. with the new logo. So Mark, Chad, and I got them, and we will be getting some links to get some Howling podcast stuff shortly. That's relative. It's just that I got time. When I get time to put up the link with different merch stuff, we'll let you guys know. But really excited. The shirts are nice, very nice. We went pretty good on these for quality. So we'll be posting links, and it was great to be back. Next week, are we going to say this is our soft season finale next week?
Yeah. Do you want to announce it right now?
We're going to do it. So next week, we are going to be joined by Athletic Director John Schemmel as part of our season 1 finale. We're going to have some stuff that we post throughout the summer just to keep things fresh. But our right now, our live season finale for season 1 will be next Sunday at 9, and we'll be joined by AD John Schemmel. He'll walk through kind of everything that's been evolving even the last few weeks in the NCAA, and look forward to what's ahead in 2025.
Perfect wrap up for season 1, I would say.
Can't wait. John is great. We're lucky to have him back at USD.
Awesome. Well, I gotta get some questions ready then. If we got the AD coming on, that's gonna be.
Yeah.
I would recommend having some questions ahead of time, unless we just roll with it, right?
Well, I think we do a good job no matter what. All right. Well, I'm not seeing a whole lot of iChart nominees coming in, so we'll go ahead and wrap up tonight's show. I want to thank everyone for tuning in. Morgan Bode was awesome. Love to have her back in the future. For Jordan Decker, for Mark Wendt, I'm Chad Berger. Until next time, go Yotes.
Go Yotes.